Long ago, Donkey Kong ruled the villains of the arcade. In 1994, Donkey Kong returned as a hero, accompanied by mind-blowing music and groundbreaking graphics. Let's jump straight in. An elderly ape in a phonograph playing some light and simple tunes. Then the bass drops as the new Donkey Kong enters with a boombox. It appears these monkeys aren't about business, they're here to party. The significance of this intro may not click with everyone, and I missed it as I was playing. It's a way of showing new technology replacing old technology alongside the changing of the Kong family. Cranky Kong, the grumpy old gorilla, is the original Donkey Kong from the arcades, and he's the grandfather of the current Donkey Kong. We're on peaceful Donkey Kong Island, but there's a big problem. The giant banana horde is missing. The entire plot of this game is about recovering the giant bananas which were stolen by the Kremlings. But who needs plot anyway? Rare, the developers of Donkey Kong's new adventure, built this game to make everyone jealous of their skills. It features unrivaled level design, and these graphics were unbelievable on the Super Nintendo. On modern screens, it may look rather messy, but if you squint your eyes while you look at it, you can still see the beauty of the graphics. And of course, hats off to composer David Wise for creating this soundtrack. Atmospheric with lots of fun mixed in. Donkey Kong and his friend Diddy Kong explore all over DK Island through 40 levels, although the box claimed to have over 100 levels. We'll address that shortly. The 40 main levels are grouped into 6 different areas known as worlds, and the first world is Congo Jungle, beginning with jungle hijinks. It's a solid introduction, keeping the platforming design simple and allowing the player to adjust to the new art style and game mechanics. The animations are detailed too, thanks to a range of colors which adds shading. Enemies are big and appear threatening, and the Kongs have a few different ways of taking them out. You can jump on their heads or perhaps pick up a barrel to throw at them in classic Kong fashion. These Kongs can also roll, which makes them move a little faster and eliminates smaller enemies. The movement of this game makes it very fun to play, and as a single player, you can choose whether you play as Donkey Kong or Diddy Kong. Donkey is bigger and stronger, meaning he's able to handle some bigger Kremlings, while Diddy Kong is more nimble and was usually my first choice. But you don't always get that choice. You begin with both Kongs only controlling the front of the pair until the lead monkey gets hurt. They will then run away, leaving the other in your control. You can restore a Kong when you find a DK barrel, several of which are scattered through each level. You can hear the monkey calling from inside, waiting to join the adventure again. It's not just the music, the entire sound design of this game is elevated to new heights. Just like the graphics, everything is designed to make this world feel real, adding realistic monkey sounds and even goofy grunts from the crocodilian Kremlings. When you have 2 players, you can choose to play as a team or a contest. The contest is to see who can finish the game first, with players taking turns to play a level, while the team works, well, as a team. Unfortunately, that doesn't mean you're playing at the same time, though. It would make sense for Donkey and Diddy Kong to be controlled separately, but that may have been too much for their Super Nintendo, already stretched to its limits. Each world contains 5 or 6 levels, plus an additional level just for the boss. Bosses are a very poor showing, it has to be said. After defeating a boss, you reclaim a giant banana and move on to the next world. The bosses are pathetic guardians of the stolen bananas, and it's a good thing they don't get much screen time, otherwise I'd be talking about it as a bigger problem, just like I did in the last video. Additionally, the worlds each have a location for some more Kong friends. First up is Cranky's cabin, where good old grandfather Cranky Kong can share his wisdom. Usually he's just rambling about what video games used to look like, clearly disapproving of Donkey Kong Country's technology. Right at the end of his ramble, he drops one real piece of advice, which is usually cryptic or too late to be useful. Then we have Funky Kong, owner of Funky's Flights. Hop into a plane barrel to go between worlds you've already unlocked. And most importantly, we have Candy's save point. Candy Kong, if you can believe it, allows you to save your progress. These save points are spaced surprisingly far apart, so it's fortunate that you can use each save point more than once. I often went back to previous candy stands to save my game. It's not just Kongs on DK Island, however. You'll find a few animal buddies to help you on your journey. In the first level is Rambi the Rhinoceros, and you can hop on top for a raging rock as he tears through any enemy. He might be too powerful if you could use him for the whole game, so Rare made the smart choice for animal buddies to last a maximum of 1 level. Most animal buddies are found in more than 1 level though. On Guard the Swordfish, for instance, is available in all 4 underwater levels and moves much more efficiently through the water while poking marine menaces out of the way. The Kongs are unable to attack underwater, so On Guard is a valuable companion. Winky the Frog can bounce very high, and Espresso the Ostrich can run fast and glide, despite ostriches usually staying grounded. The gliding is awkward since you have to repeatedly tap the button. Last and appearing the least is Squawks the Parrot. He appears in a dark cave to shine a light in the direction you're facing, and the good news is that he won't get hurt. The player is more likely to get hurt from playing this level because Squawks' turning animation points the light directly towards the screen for a brief moment. Ouch, I don't think the graphics needed to be this powerful. One special thing about Donkey Kong Country is that you can achieve 101% on your save file. The strange thing is, it has absolutely nothing to do with the collectibles you find within the levels. Small bananas are like Mario's coins, and collecting 100 will earn you an extra life, but they don't matter for your file completion. Every level has at least one golden animal token, and guess what? They don't matter either. Now surely this is it. There are 4 letter tokens in each level spelling out Kong, and when you collect them all, you'll also get a 1-up. Nope, not even that matters. I collected animal tokens and Kong letters nonetheless because they were a fun extra challenge and required some exploration. They're also useful for building your lives counter, which may be necessary when the game gets harder. But now the question is, how on earth do you accomplish 101% completion? The cartridge box advertises over 100 levels, which isn't really true by my definition of a level. However, within the main levels you can most often find bonus stages. A handful of levels don't contain a bonus stage, while the others have anywhere from 1 to 5 bonus stages. Entering a bonus stage adds to your file completion, and you don't even have to finish the bonus area. So, in theory, each main level and bonus stage should add up to 101, explaining the 101% counter. I attempted to count them, but somewhere the math isn't mathing. Perhaps the boss stages don't count since my file was already at 100% with 2 bosses left. This whole bonus thing is quirky, and it ends up being the best and worst thing about the game. They're all short rooms with small rewards and sometimes act as shortcuts through the level. The real best and worst part, however, is finding them all. Some entrances are fun and creative, while others are frustratingly obscure. If you're a completionist, this is bad news. You won't discover all of them until you've truly monkeyed around and found out, and even then you would be extremely lucky. I enjoyed accessing bonuses when it required risky jumps or other maneuvers, especially when the entrance was visible and daring me to go for it. I also enjoyed looking for clues about their locations, such as the suspicious trails of bananas seemingly leading into a pit. I didn't enjoy the countless bonuses that were accessed by throwing a barrel at a wall. There's never any indication that these walls might break, and this just feels lazy. Every so often there was something completely arbitrary, like the single bonus in the whole game accessed from within another bonus. If you're not a completionist and you play through the levels without attempting any bonus stages, this won't be a concern. I still think the bonuses are one of the best parts of the game because the world is riddled with secrets. I didn't stumble across all bonuses myself because I opened up a guide to look for the elusive 101%. And guess what? I still had a good time. If you found every bonus stage in a level, the level title will be marked with an exclamation point on the world map, making the name sound very excited. For example, Bouncy Bonanza becomes Bouncy Bonanza! And if it doesn't sound overly enthusiastic about its existence, then there must be a bonus stage you haven't found inside the level. In some ways, it's easier to appreciate the central level design when you aren't looking for secrets. You always have to be alert because despite an easy beginning, levels become complicated. 3 of the levels in Congo Jungle are smooth and simple, while Ropey Rampage and Barrel Cannon Canyon are small difficulty spikes. The second world, Monkey Mines, also begins simple, but when you reach World 3's Vine Valley, the difficulty sneaks up on you. It's only more challenging from there, so for the most part, the difficulty curve is executed correctly. Gorilla Glacier is an icy trial, and Creme Croc Industries builds a brilliant atmosphere. The Fear Factory soundtrack is my personal favorite. I was disappointed to go from this atmosphere to Chimp Caverns, which was the final world. It served as a good ending regardless, with the toughest tests in this dark cave environment. The regular platforming feels different to any game before its time, helping this game feel fresh and innovative. But Rare loved adding extra gimmicks, with several levels revolving around one gimmick. Barrel Cannon Canyon is one of these, introducing the barrel cannons with a level full of them before they become a part of many future levels. You can pick up some of the barrels, but these ones are floating in the air for you to jump into. You'd be surprised at how many different things they can do. Plain barrels require you to activate their blast, while barrels with an explosion symbol will instantly blast you in the direction they face. Some barrels will spin, and some will move back and forth, so timing is everything. Another common gimmick is ropes. They're introduced early too, and the Kongs will automatically grab onto a rope when they jump into one. Forest Frenzy is a notable level where portions are spent clinging onto a single rope as it moves forward over a large pit. There's also Slip Slide Ride, where the ropes return with a vengeance. It's the only level with this icy crystal cave theme, but don't get lost in its beauty. This level is a Medusa waiting to strike. In addition to its location, it's the only level to use colored ropes. Blue ropes constantly pulling you upwards, and purple ropes pushing you down. Add in the bouncy critters and numerous zingers, and you have a recipe for disaster, mostly for the player. It's a design I fear, but I respect it immensely. There were some gimmicks that I wanted to see more of, like the enemies of Stop and Go Station. This is a fantastic game, but if I'm being picky, and you know I will be, I would say that too many gimmicks relied on auto-scroll. Don't get me wrong, the variety of autoscrollers impresses me, it just hampered the game's pace for me. The 2 minecart levels were fast and intense, and I thought Tanked Up Trouble was supremely creative with the constant refueling of the moving platform. These levels made the more basic autoscrollers stand out as bland, and towards the end, I felt there were too many close together on the world map. Tanked Up Trouble may be creative, but it takes place only 5 levels after Trick Track Trek, which looks exactly the same. Still, I had to dig deep for this nitpick, and I pointed out highlights in the process. You always end up liking this game even if it lets you down. After clearing the 6 worlds of Donkey Kong Island, there's only one thing left. You may have reclaimed the giant bananas, but you should probably drive those pesky Kremlings away. Their leader is King K. Rool, and he's waiting on his ship, the Gangplank Galleon. Yes, this is the final boss fight, and it's somewhat of an endurance test. It's a lot more interesting than the other bosses, though it becomes repetitive. He even fakes his defeat, causing the credits to roll. It caught me off guard. The fake credits didn't fool me, but I was not prepared for his quick movements afterwards. The game has a good sense of humor though, and it used that to its advantage in situations like these. The true credits are fun too. I learned the names of all the enemies, and Cranky Kong was eager for his turn to cross the screen. It wraps up perfectly, showing the graphical and musical power one more time. Rare attempted to redesign almost every element of video games with this release. It was every aspect of the graphics, from the 2.5D shaded platforms to the animations. It was the new music and sound effects. Everything felt original, even the platforming, which was one of the earliest and simplest gaming genres. Most of it worked smoothly, creating a new standard for future titles. I just wish they had redesigned their bosses too, and shown more restraint when placing secrets and bonuses. Therefore, my final score for Donkey Kong Country will be 8.7 out of 10. What more is there to say? Go try it if you haven't already. There may have been growing pains as they figured out this new formula, but luckily we got a trilogy of Donkey Kong Country games, so everything could be perfected. All 3 Super Nintendo Kong adventures are available with Nintendo Switch Online, and they're all worth playing. This first game is the only one available on the Classic Edition console, and you can't go wrong with that either. It will knock your socks off at least twice. There's also a remake on the Game Boy Color if you want the challenge of a smaller screen and less cohesive controls. For obvious reasons, the Monkey Mayhem caused quite a buzz when it came out. It was the front cover game for both Electronic Gaming Monthly and Nintendo Power, who called it a whole new level of animation. Unsurprisingly, they both gave enviable scores. EGM listed it as Game of the Month with a stellar average of 9.25 out of 10. They expressed shock that the Super Nintendo could handle a game like this, with one reviewer declaring it as simply the best game out there. Over at Nintendo Power, their power rankings totaled a solid 18 out of 20, which games scarcely achieved. Tell me, did you agree with the points I've made? What rating would you give Donkey Kong Country for the SNES, initially released in 1994? Leave a like to prevent me from turning into Cranky Kong, and subscribe so I don't go absolutely bananas. As ever, thank you for watching, and please continue to be your own unique self.
A leap of faith is all it takes to find Winky in Barrel Cannon Canyon. I already went there. Why are you telling me this? Okay. Thanks, buddy.